everyone. I'm just going to wait a few minutes to see if anyone joins us live here for our preliminary, our first What's Up Wednesday live Q&A with me for all of your health and wellness questions, curiosities, anything goes. I did get a few emailed questions from you guys ahead of time, but also feel free to join on in live. I'll be posting these videos later too in case you missed the live, but we'll just give it a couple more minutes for folks if they did plan on tuning in for the live event. And feel free to say hello if you want so I can see who's joining, but you don't have to. But hello whoever popped on. Hopefully we're all hanging in there during this very curious time. At least the sun's out today. All right, well, I'm gonna just hop on into it because I'm not sure how many folks are planning on joining live regardless, especially since it's our first one. I'm gonna be offering this every Wednesday. I'll probably keep it to the 2 p.m. slot for the rest of this quarantine life situation. Who knows how long, and maybe afterwards as well, because it's fun to tune in with you guys live and just answer general questions. And of course, as we'll move into this, we'll talk a little bit more about generalizing health and wellness. It's a really hard thing to do because we're all so unique, but it's nice to kind of give you guys a jumping off point with any expertise I can offer you. All right, so I'll just start with the first question that I received, and this one was revolving around, for beginner gardeners, what is the best plant medicinals to start with in your garden? And this is a great question because many of us have yards, have the space to do it, especially during this time. People are spending more time obviously at home and in their yards and checking things out. So what are the best sort of starter herbs, starter medicinals to begin with? And I guess my first instinct is just to tell you to take a peek around your property and just see what's already there. One of my favorite things to kind of touch upon during my weed walks, which I'll be doing some virtual ones if you're interested in that, is to just know, what are the repeating herbs? As I'm saying this, I look outside and I have a bunch of dandelions in the backyard, which is kind of nice. I hadn't seen any yet, because plants grow where they're needed. And especially if you've been living at your house or apartment for a while, the plants will come to you specifically, or to, if you have a several unit building, maybe it's for everyone there, but they don't just pop up for no good reason, especially if it's at your residence. They're usually for you. And a really cool story I'll share with you just really briefly is when I first started herbal medicine, I was just learning about stuff. I was really excited to go over to my parents' property because they have such a huge property, and they had a huge old raised garden bed they hadn't done anything with for, I don't know, at least 10 years. And so I'm like, I want to scout out the area, see if I can find any of the medicinals I learned about and maybe bring the garden back to life. So I was so excited. And so I remember the first weekend after one of my apprenticeship trainings over in Misty Meadows, I went over and I looked at the garden first. For whatever reason, I think I was just attracted there. And the entire garden was filled with motherwort plant. And like at this point, it must have been mid-summer. They were like taller than me. So the whole section, I'm like, oh my goodness, all motherwort. And what's interesting to note is that motherwort is specific to heart health, and heart palpitations and cardiovascular issues, as well as just kind of high pitta, high aggressive sort of alpha personality types that need to kind of sit down a little bit and rest and relax and kind of calm the anxiety and calm like the do, go, as well as a very supportive menopause herb. Okay, so during this time, my mother, hey mom, speaking of you, was going through the changes moving towards menopause, and my father has always had heart issues and heart health stuff, and they both can be very hot-headed, very, type A people in some ways. They're very hard workers. So it was so cool to see this plant being like, here I am, like, here to help you in their entire huge garden space. And so to this day, I have still kept several rows of motherwort present in my garden for that reason, and because it's such an amazing plant for many reasons. But it was so cool to just notice what is already growing around you. So that's my first suggestion for you, is to walk around your property, even if you don't know what they are. Take some photos, share them on this page. I'm happy to help you ID if I can. Sometimes it's challenging via pictures, but sometimes I can help you, and see what's already there. Same thing, there are a couple other really awesome medicinals that were already growing on my parents' property that actually just started to move into the garden space. Was stinging nettle. What else? Let's see, ground ivy grows everywhere. There are so many medicinals that are already happy and healthy, and not all of them are native, but they are they've implanted themselves to be native, so they just grow naturally on their own. So what's great about these plants is that there's a lot less upkeep. Hey, Paige. Yes, isn't that a great story about motherwort? It's one of my favorites. So I love to do that first. Okay, so secondly, I will go into some of the, so lemon balm just popped into my head because I have so many favorite friends in the plant world that are very simple, very easy to grow, but the mint family, lemon balm in particular, is so easy to grow. Hey, Alexa. And it's in the mint. So most mint family plants will just spread like wildfire, and you will have them forever. And so lemon balm is one of the safest, most gentle, most powerful, most full spectrum plant that you can utilize for medicinal properties, as well as food and confectionery types of things. And you can certainly start lemon balm from seed. I'm trying to think, have I started it from seed? I think I started with plants. So I can't say for certain how easy it is to start from seed, but most mint seeds that I have started, they germinate pretty quickly. And so if you're someone who has a small greenhouse or a space inside a growing room in your house that you want to start from seed, I'm sure that you could absolutely do that with lemon balm, or just buy a plant. There's a lot of plant sales going on pretty soon, curbside pickup type stuff that we would definitely want to check out. So lemon balm, why do I love lemon balm so much? Because it tastes delicious. That's one of the best things about lemon balm. And for medicine, you want your medicine, medicine usually tastes pretty gross, but it's nice when medicine tastes delicious, like lemon balm does. So it has a lemony, sort of tangy flavor, but pretty gentle, it's not overpowering. It's very soothing to the nervous system, to the mind. It instills peace. It kind of calms anxiety. It's a great insomnia herb. It's wonderful for children, for elders. There has been previous research around it being contraindicated for hypothyroidism. That's when it's an underactive thyroid, but that has been kind of tossed to the side. The science is not there anymore. It's completely safe for any thyroid issues, and it's just so versatile. You can make it as a tea, you can do it as a tincture, you can add it, you can grind it up and add it to cupcakes or cookies. It's so delicious. It dries well, so you can dry it to have throughout the whole season. Vinegars, salad dressings. It's wonderful for herpes simplex, so any cold sore type issues. It's great for preventative care for shingles and chickenpox stuff. So it's antiviral, it's anti-inflammatory, it's a digestive herb. You just want to be drinking it every day. It just really touches upon so many different areas, and it's one of those herbs that you can take long term, and your body will just keep getting nourished by it. So that was question number 1, and certainly for any of you guys who have joined and you want to throw a question in there, go ahead and throw one on, or you can save it for next week and just email it to me or direct message me, whatever you'd like. But I'll just hop on to the second question I received for this week, and that was around smoking herbs and herbal smokes. Now, that's not something that I practice very actually at all, really. I mean, certainly there have been herbs that I've smoked before just to test them out, but it's not something that I practice regularly. But that's not to say there's no benefit to it. So the one thing I like to preface with smoking anything is that, of course, it's hard. It can be hard on the lungs. You know, smoking anything other than the oxygen that we're breathing is going to have some type of side effect for the long term on our lungs, obviously. Hey, Jeff. But what's really cool is that a lot of plants can actually have a soothing effect on the lungs when you smoke them. So for people, especially clients that I see that are, one of their goals is to stop, to quit smoking, I always like to start them off by encouraging them to roll their own cigarettes, because the act of smoking, when you really think about it, is taking a break, stopping what you're doing, and breathing. Okay, and of course you're breathing in smoke, but you're really, noticing people on their lunch break, noticing people who are just, especially in the restaurant business, which I worked at for a long time, we'd always be in the alleyway and people would just be hanging out smoking their cigarettes, like just kind of going in and out of the back door. And it was a time to just kind of pause, and it's very meditative, and you're just taking a moment for yourself. So when you think about smoking in that way, it can be a ritual, right? It can be a meditation. So I always encourage people, hi Jonas, to start rolling their own cigarettes, okay? Because that makes you stop. You can't just grab one out of the pack. You're stopping and you're having to roll it from scratch before you smoke. So you can be putting your intention into it. You can be, kind of creating that meditative practice and ritual around the act of smoking, because that really is a huge component for people. And then, of course, so you're getting the loose tobacco. Hopefully you can get really nice high quality tobacco. Again, these are for the folks who are easing themselves away from smoking, but hey, it takes baby steps. But two herbs that I love to include in their smoke blend is, one is colt's foot leaf, and one is, oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought. Colt's foot, and mullein, which is like the superstar of COVID-19 right now, because it really helps for lung support and pneumatic sort of lung issue. Mullein, and both grow wild around here, which is super cool. So it's the leaf for mullein, it's the leaf for colt's foot. So you would just add them to your blend, and those are both specifically for not only strengthening the lungs, soothing the lungs, soothing any irritation, but also expelling and expectorating any of that guck that, of course, cigarette smoking can create in the lungs. So those are my two herbs that I have worked with folks that are really medicinal and healing for the lungs. There's two other smoking herbs that I've played with a little bit. One is Damiana, which is kind of known as the aphrodisiac herb for a lot of folks. It's also just very calming, very soothing to the heart. It's great for just general anxiety, for insomnia. It tastes really lovely. So Damiana, but what Damiana does in the smoking sense, it kind of brings a little bit of euphoric energy to you. So it actually was once used as like the safe legal herb instead of marijuana, before people were using that legally in other states. So Damiana is one, and then mugwort is another. And I remember trying mugwort for this purpose of like, okay, supposedly it's like weed, so I'm going to try some. I didn't find that to be the case. Personally, I didn't try it for a very long time, but mugwort is also a plant that is known to just be a little bit sedative, a little bit more grounding and relaxing, that you could also blend into your own smoke blends. And it doesn't mean that you have to like have tobacco in your smoke blends. If you just wanted to smoke herbal blends straight up, that's great too, if that's what you're drawn to. And the other thing I wanted to throw in there is that some folks, some herbalists, will actually burn herbs in, let's say, just a fire safe dish, as if you were burning sage for smudging your house, and just inhale the smoke that way for purification. Specifically, again, mullein and colt's foot, to clarify, to purify, to expectorate, and to strengthen the lungs. And that is when you are in a bout of lung distress, basically. So you can use smoke medicinally, but again, I don't ever encourage long-term use, because smoking anything, medicinal or not, is, it's going to have some wear and tear on the lungs. So you just want to be mindful about that. So that's what I have to offer. The herbal smoke question, thank you for it. It was a fun one to kind of touch upon, because I don't talk about it very often. And I wanted to, I'll have to add it in the comments. There's a really amazing business. I want to say that she is out of somewhere in Mass. oh, and I can't remember her business name now. I meant to write it down, but she makes beautiful herbal cigarettes. So this is something that you're drawn to and you want to try some out. She makes gorgeous ones. They're lovely, like high quality herbs. And I'll add her link in the comments so you can check them out if you'd like to. Okay, I don't see any questions popping up, so feel free if you have any to throw some in. I just have one other email question that was sent to me, and know that you guys can just kind of keep the questions coming, especially if you want them answered anonymously, because I won't mention names as I'm talking about them, obviously, anytime, because I'm going to keep doing these Wednesday check-ins again through this whole crazy quarantine and maybe beyond that. So feel free. My email is jupiterslabyrinth@gmail.com, or you can direct message me on Facebook or Instagram. All right, so my final question that I got was around hormonal acne and sort of cystic acne around cycles, especially in particular for women, but this can be through puberty as well for boys or girls growing up. Hi, Julia. So hormonal acne, it can be a real issue for a lot of folks through really any stage of life. But one of the things I will say about acne is that it's a very heated condition, and anything to do with the skin is going to often be connected to liver and digestive health. Okay, so that's the first thing, and inflammation, okay? Because what the body can't expel on its own, like especially the liver and digestive tract, like if you're constipated or you're just having a hard time moving your stools, if your liver is just run down, which whose liver isn't, honestly, it has such a huge load to take on. What it does is it helps to, those two organs in particular will release what they can't process on their own within the systemic body out through the skin, out through the pores. It's kind of our last source of elimination when the body's overloaded. And so acne is that. I mean, a lot, especially the pus-filled ones. It's getting all the gunk out, all the buildup that might be festering in your body if, again, you're just kind of a little stagnated and you have a little bit of backup going on and a lot of heat. Often it's heat related, and again, the inflammation. So always looking to the liver and digestion. So typically people who have acne, they're a little bit more fiery. If you follow Ayurveda, there's some pitta energy there. Emotionally speaking, it's the anger, it's boundaries. Those are kind of the emotional, spiritual lessons of skin stuff, because you think about your skin as a boundary, right? It's your first physical boundary to the outside world, but also, it's part of that energetic boundary as well when you're talking about the mental, emotional piece of acne. So boundaries, anger, festering stuff from a mental, emotional standpoint. So my favorite herbs, and again, I'm generalizing here, if I would have to work with you one-on-one to really hone in on the plants that would be specific to you. Not every plant will work the same way with everyone, so I just always like to remind you and preface that. But liver herbs, and liver herbs are typically bitters, okay, and digestive herbs are bitters. So really simple ones like dandelion root and burdock root and yellow dock root. Those three are actually a fantastic blend that just kind of jump starts the activity for your gut to have better elimination. It gets the gastric juices going. Again, we don't love the bitter flavor in this country so much, but it really helps to stimulate all the functions of our eliminative organs so that we can better, poop daily, get those toxins out that way, and give the liver a little extra support so it can function better. Because especially when it's relating to our hormones, especially for women who go through crazy cycles of lots of different hormones on top of everything else we're trying to deal with in the world, what we eat, what we drink, the air we breathe, all has to be filtered, through the liver, right, and processed out. We want to give it a little extra support because even hormones, of course, have to be filtered through the liver. So I have a really awesome recipe. Again, I'll put a link in the comments, but it's on my website too. And it's called Herbal Root Coffee. And I use those three herbs, burdock root, dandelion root, and yellow dock. And you can roast them if you want, but you just make a really strong, potent overnight infusion with them and leave it sitting overnight, strain in the morning, and then you can reheat it. Unless you want to do like an iced coffee version, add your milk of choice, add your sweetener of choice, and it's a really delicious treat. And no, it doesn't taste exactly like coffee, but it has that strong bitterness to it. And it's so fantastic at, again, giving you the support you need to get a little bit ahead of that backup, because acne is because your digestive tract, your liver, more often than not is being overworked and there's just too much to process, especially during certain cycles of the month for women. So if you can be drinking these liver herbs or taking the tincture or making a vinegar, there's lots of different ways to work with them. You can get ahead of that preventatively, and really forevermore, you're going to get ahead of the game when it comes to hormonal acne. Also just eating bitters in general, so bitter greens, dandelion greens, collards, spinach. Cook them right now. We're still kind of in between. I know we're in the spring, but it's still a little brisk out. Our digestive tract needs a little extra help getting that digestive fire going, so cooked greens. But any of the greens are really going to help with that liver function, that digestive function as well. And I see a question here. Hi, Laura. Do you have any places to recommend purchasing herbs, oils, tinctures from while we are in quarantine? Just moved to DC. This is Paige. Sorry, I just want to open up the whole thing here. Just moved to DC and having a hard time finding herbalists or shops around here. Okay, great question, Paige. So my go-to, of course, is always Mountain Rose Herbs, which is West Coast. And you know, I like to keep things as local as possible, but it's so hard often to find quality, sustainably harvested herbs from really, you know, just it's a really great company. They're ethical, they're sustainable, they're really, really mindful of sourcing. So mountainroseherbs.com you can find. They're fantastic, and they actually only charge you wholesale prices, so you get really great bulk deals. Some other great companies, and that would be more so for dried herbs, but they also have oils and butters. Their essential oils are okay. They're not my number one. But overall, they're a fantastic company. Zach Wood's Herb Farm, they're in Vermont. They're smaller, but they sell to, they actually sell to Mountain Rose, etc. And they don't have as much offering online, but you can often throw them an email hey, do you have any nettle leaf or lemon balm leaf? I'd love to buy some, or this or that. And they might be able to hook you up. And they're a really great, amazing family, super high quality herbs. You won't believe the colors of calendula that you will get from them, or rose. They grow really beautiful stuff. And then Avena Botanicals, which is in Maine. They have wonderful products across the board, tinctures, elixirs. I don't know if they sell dried herbs, but Deb Sewell is the owner. She's a magical woman, I love her so much. She does everything biodynamically, so she grows by the planets and the moon, and she's just such an amazing fairy woman herbalist. I adore her, so she's an awesome company to recommend and support. I'm trying to think of one other one just to throw on there. I mean, I guess if we're looking for the regular mainstream but good quality companies, Gaia Herbs is a great one. I would probably Gaia is my number one, so Gaia, I think. Gaia, yes. It's close enough, you'll find it. So those are the ones for more of the tinctures, and they even have a product called PhytoCaps. So for if you're someone like my dad who takes one drop of tincture and is I can't do it, it's too gross, he's such a baby, you can get PhytoCaps instead, and they're not just dried herbs in a capsule, which I don't really recommend. You don't always get enough of the herb, and you never really know what the quality is. It's just kind of dead herbs in a capsule. But PhytoCaps are actually liquid, and so they're several squirts of tincture encapsulated in some type of gel cap that you can take that way, so you can get a nice potent dose without the gross flavor. But I will say that tasting your herbs is part of the medicine, so tasting the grossness actually helps the body receive the medicine and learn from it what it's trying to do in the body to make it more potent. So just throwing it in there. All right, I'm just going to scroll here, see if there's any other questions. Hey, Andy, I didn't see you pop in. If anyone has any other things they would like me to touch upon or just say hello. Again, I'm going to be doing this every Wednesday, so feel free to email me, DM me for anonymous questions that I'll just bring up here without mentioning your name to answer. And of course, I'll be posting this recording later too if you missed the live. That's totally cool too. But I'll just hang out another minute. If anyone does have questions, feel free to jot one into the comment box. Otherwise, I will tune in with you guys next week. I hope everyone's hanging in there. I know this is such a weird time, but the more we can all kind of stick together in this, the sooner it will be over, hopefully. And it all happens for a reason, right? It's really interesting what bubbles to the surface during challenging times like these. All right. Well, if that is that, then I will just look forward to connecting with you all next week. And one more time, oh, Jeff. Oh, thank you, Jeff. Absolutely. Thank you, Paige. One more time, my email, jupiterslabyrinth@gmail.com, or you can just direct message me on this platform or Instagram, and I will answer as best I can. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a beautiful day. Oh, one more question from Paige. I love it. Do you have any thoughts on Herbal Academy and their courses? Yeah, I think they're really great. I haven't personally taken any, but the teachers that they have offerings through them are amazing. So I would say definitely check it out. I also love Rosemary Gladstar's online program because she's like one of the mothers of herbalism, especially in this country. She's incredible. And so she has a go at your own pace herbalism course that's like amazing. And you can just actually go to sagemountain.com and check her out. Some others, I love Brittany Wood-Nickerson. She is Thyme, like the plant, Thyme, Thyme Herbals. She has a wonderful online program as well, and she's just like so cool, fantastic woman. And anyone else that I can vouch for, I think those are the three. But yeah, check out Herbal Academy if you're feeling drawn there. Take a peek, because I think they have really awesome information and amazing teachers from what I've seen. So yeah, check it out. It's a good time to do these online programs. And actually, just like one little more push for the stuff that I'm offering right now, I have a handful of my Herbal Anarchy online courses. Some of them have already passed their live date, but you can still get the recording and all the PDF notes. It's a sliding scale. Pay what you can. It's from $10 up. So it's so much good information you have for life if you want to check into that as well. And it's all on my website under virtual classes. And I'm still offering my virtual consults and distance Reiki. I still have some spots opening. And again, this is through the quarantine, so I've got, I'll have some more dates popping up. But if you have questions, just email me again. I'm happy to have a conversation and offer you more support. All right. Thank you guys again for tuning in. I will see you next week. All right, have an awesome day.